Oh, my days in heaven. What a fantastic way to kick off the World Cup downhill season. The first round just last weekend in Losinj, Croatia. See, I even learned how to pronounce it for you. It was really exciting to see a course that made riders think. This was a really challenging and unique kind of course. Nothing like anything else on the World Cup circuit. Pretty much straight out of the start gate, after your short sprint and a couple of mandatory massive jumps, you were into an absolute crocodile tooth, gnarly, hectic rock garden that continued almost the entire way down to the finish line, save for a very short sprint through the village itself, which was actually a kind of cool urban bookend to the race and made for a really cool finishing area right in the heart of the village. What we liked about it was that it made riders really think about their bike setup, their riding style. They couldn't go into autopilot. They had to be on it the whole way down. There was a real fight to maintain momentum. You had to muscle your bike through sections. There was no easy flow to be found anywhere on the track at all. You had to fight for any little bit of momentum or any bit of flow that you wanted to carry. And as a result, it really suited riders who were either incredibly clean and precise and could somehow skim on top of the rocks, which we saw with Miriam Nicole, or riders like Aaron Gwyn, who ultimately took the win, who can absolutely muscle the bike. Aaron Gwyn, strong as an ox, and it is no surprise to see that he was the one who could hold that bike on line and just make it go where he wanted it to go, not where the rocks were trying to send it, and ultimately took the win in the men's. And Miriam Nicole taking out the win in the women's. A big surprise there, really. Lots of people had tipped Rachel Atherton to romp it in, but coming back from injury, she wasn't entirely up to speed, and so we saw Miriam Nicole do the job. On such a physical course, it shouldn't have really been a surprise that Brooke McDonald was absolutely in his element too. The Bulldog, that super burly Kiwi, was absolutely smashing it. He was the fastest man in time practice, and then he was the fastest qualifier too, wiping out in his race run. It's a fantastic start to the season for this guy, and we hope that he can carry that confidence and that form through. He is a serious hard ass too, as a bit of a side note. Wiping out in his race run, he broke his collarbone, but he got back up and rode to the finish. Whether or not that's smart, it's certainly tough. From an Australian perspective, an awesome start to the season. Dean Lucas in third, Jack Moyer in sixth, Troy Brosnan in ninth, 3 Australian men in the top 10. Tracy Hanna in the elite women, unfortunately wiping out in her race run, not able to get the result that she was hoping for, and joining her brother Mick in the injury camp. Mick Hanna wiping out in practice, knocked himself out and also broke a little finger and elected, having concussed himself, not to race, which we think is a pretty smart choice. In the juniors, Kai Ahern raced to a 3rd place, which is a really great start for this young man. It's his first World Cup season with the Canyon Factory Racing team, so to come straight out of the blocks and get a 3rd is absolutely huge. Another one to watch for sure. Aaron Gwyn taking the win in Losinj last weekend was notable for a bunch of reasons. One, it takes him just 2 race victories away from becoming the most winning World Cup downhill rider of all time. Currently that is held by Greg Minnaar, and 2 more wins under his belt, and you're going to see Aaron Gwyn move into that top spot. Secondly, it's a fantastic start to what could be his 6th World Cup overall title. Now currently he sits on 5 and is equal to Nico Vuglio as the rider who has won the most World Cup overall titles. So if he can do it again this year, he is going to go into the record books as the rider who has won both the most World Cup races, but also the most World Cup overall titles. He still hasn't won the World Championships though, which is pretty incredible. So Lenza Heider this year, Switzerland, watch out. I think we're going to see a man possessed with Aaron Gwyn there. 2 other Americans joined Aaron Gwyn on the podium last weekend as well, Lucas Shaw and then Dakota Norton, who is a name that many people wouldn't be familiar with. 2 young guns of American downhill. This could be a new golden era for American downhill, the likes of which we haven't seen since the late 90s, early 2000s, before the Australian and French domination kicked into gear. In domestic news, we've been up in Atherton for the last few days, shooting on the trails up there. It's a whole bunch of new trails that we hadn't ridden. It was about 4 years since we'd been up in Atherton, so it's really cool to see how that destination has evolved, and evolve in a big way. It certainly has. There are mountains and mountains of great trails out there now, and we're looking forward to bringing you that video in a couple of weeks' time. Anyhow, that'll do us for this week. Light is fading fast, and I actually want to get a bit of a ride in before it gets pitch black. Thank you very much for watching once again. Give us a like, give us a comment, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, send us an email and give us any feedback. We absolutely love hearing from all of you guys. Thanks very much.